Hello and welcome back to Talk About Strange. On my second video of the day, the first one was a message from Tommy. I hope you guys are already watching that. That's phenomenal. I mean, I am so excited about that. I'm glad we got it. I was not expecting it this soon. I know you guys weren't either. As I said in that video, I have a couple other messages here that somebody sent in. They shared some more stories. One has a couple of encounters and a poem. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. And then we have another encounter story that's really cool that involves Bigfoot and fairies. So kind of unexpectedly. But it's really cool. I just want to go over really quick because I missed out on that first video. I wanted to give a shout out to Cabal 313. Cabal 313, friend of ours here at the channel. He made a really cool suggestion. He bought one of our Talk About Strange logo shirts, and he took it, he wore it to the casino on Valentine's Day. And so he kind of showed off some of our merch. That's really awesome. And he sent a picture in, he sent us a couple pictures, and made a suggestion that, you know, when people share a story or they just buy something, that to wear it and get a picture or whatever and send it in to share it on the channel. And just give everybody an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better, put a face behind the name on, and maybe put the name up on there as well, their channel name, so that we can just get to know each other a little bit better. And I thought that was a really cool idea. So he took the first step and sent that picture in. So I'm putting that up for you right now so you can check that out. All right, and you can get that stuff at the Talk About Strange store. That link is on my homepage, so you can go to the homepage and check that out. Just click on the link; it'll take you right to the store. There's some really cool merchandise on there, and we really appreciate your support when you go there and purchase something from us. Okay, I'm not going to drag that out any longer than that. Oh, I do want to mention. I've had a few people ask me. They get confused between my channel name, Talk About Strange 2023, and where to share their stories to, that I always put at the beginning and end in the bottom corner of the videos. Talk About Strange 2024@gmail.com. That's where you want to send your stories to. Don't follow the YouTube name there for that. Okay. So, and it's also a link on the homepage in the About area. So there's a lot of different ways to find it. Okay, so let's get on with these stories. This can be a lot of fun. You guys are going to enjoy this, and we got that poem for you. Don't forget about that. So stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun. You ready? Let's get started. Hi, Steve. First of all, thank you to everyone that had shared their stories. It gave me the courage to share one of my strange experiences during my life. To begin, my encounter happened in 2006 when my husband and I moved our sons to Asheville, North Carolina. The Blue Ridge Mountains are beautiful, and since my husband retired from the USP in North Carolina, we decided it would be a great new beginning. Bigfoot is known in this region, and they have an annual WNC Bigfoot Festival in Marion, North Carolina. Did you hear that, guys? In case you want to go, annual WNC Bigfoot Festival in Marion, North Carolina. Just in case you want to check that out, and maybe I will too. If you know when that is, let us know. Otherwise, you can probably Google it. So, others must have encountered Bigfoot, and I'm not crazy, laugh out loud. You're not crazy. Lots of people have encounters there. On the day of my encounter, my friend, we'll call her Betty, invited me over to her cottage home in Asheville Hills. Her cottage was surrounded by forest and was isolated from any other houses. I spent the afternoon visiting her. We had a nice visit and lunch. I had brought my camera with me to take some photos of the beautiful landscape. I asked her if I could take a walk up the hill and take some photos, and so I did. There at the top of the hill was a lovely brook with wildflowers and colorful rocks around it. I noticed how quiet and calm the surrounding area was. Almost an eerie feeling, as I felt like I was being watched. I didn't think much at first. I decided to take a few photos of the flowers. I did notice what seemed like little fairies looked like little insects fluttering around the wildflowers as I took the photos. Little did I know, after I was done taking the photos, I decided to sit on a big rock to enjoy the surrounding and the sound of the brook and the beautiful view of the hills. Still feeling like I was being watched, I decided to get up and maybe go back to the cottage. There are black bear known in the areas of those hills. I started to get this uncomfortable feeling. All of a sudden, I heard this deep grunting sound within the trees. It sounded like a gorilla. I felt a presence of three watching me. I couldn't see anything, but I felt the presence. All of a sudden, one of the large trees, maybe 20 to 30 feet tall, started to sway back and forth like something grabbed it and was bending it back and forth from the middle of the trunk. Totally surprised and in fear, I took off running down the hill, never looking back. I don't blame you. I didn't even remember getting inside the cottage. When I calmed down, I told Betty what had happened. I didn't know if she'd ever encountered a Bigfoot, but she believed me. I never ever went back to that cottage. I believe it was three Bigfoot having fun with me. I don't believe they were harmful. I can't prove it was a Bigfoot because they didn't show themselves. Maybe they knew if that would scare me more if I saw them. Since the encounter, I have encountered other encounters within the past years. I have a sixth sense communication and feeling their presence. That's another story. As for the photos of the wildflowers, I took my photos and downloaded the pictures on my computer. When I looked at the wildflowers blowing up, close up, there was a fairy. It might have been a queen fairy. My husband was surprised to see the photo too. Sad thing is, I never printed them out and my computer crashed. Silly me. Lastly, before this experience, I didn't believe in fairies or Bigfoot. I still have questions of if it really happened. But now I do believe there are vortexes and portals and things we can't explain in this world. Thank you a bunch, Skeeter. Thank you, Skeeter. We appreciate you sharing that with us. There are a lot of stories out there about fairies. It's just, I don't know about the association with Bigfoot or not. So some of our subscribers on here and people watching this might have some more information about that. I've heard about them with orbs. I feel like I've heard something about that. We did do another story where they went to this fairyland. It's a place actually literally called Fairyland that they went to and out in the woods, and they were chased out by something. So I don't know. You just never know. But either way, thank you for sharing that with us. I don't blame you for scooting down the hill and getting out of there. If I seen a great big tree and heard those noises, I'd probably get out of there too. All right, so let's get on to our next story. Stories, actually. So this one is 2 stories and a poem that I am going to try very hard to get through. I can't make any promises, so I'm not a poem reader, but I will do my best. All right. My husband's skunk, ape, and Bigfoot encounters and Bigfoot poem I wrote while listening to the stories you shared. Cool. I hope you and your family are doing well. I am really thankful to have found a channel and happy to become a member. Thank you for becoming a member, and thank you for sticking around. Thank you for contributing. I don't want to bombard you with emails or anything. I know I just sent a second email about the strange things that have gone on in my life. But your video on the hangry Bigfoot reminded me of my husband's skunk ape sighting when he lived in northern Florida. So I thought I would go ahead and share it and his quick sighting in Texas when he was a truck driver. Also, I thought I would add a poem I was inspired to write yesterday while listening to all of your stories you shared. Cool. Wow, you wrote it in a day, huh? I'll start in Florida simply because the encounter happened first. This goes back late 2008, early 2009. It took place in the deep woods that border up against the national forest on one side and prison land on the other. The section they were in was private property and was off limits to just anyone. So this was mostly undisturbed area, at least in the more recent years leading up to this point. Anyway, my husband and his friend were out there hog hunting. They were on ATVs and would circle around the section before going in to see what they could find. I'm not sure if using ATVs is a normal hunting tactic or just what they did, but regardless, they were coming around a tight corner when they caught a whiff of something nasty. At about the same time the smell hit them, they saw this massive dark brown and black looking shape tucked over into the palmetto bushes. It stood up to a towering height. Then just as quickly they'd seen it, they were out of sight of it again because of how the tight corner was in a dense forest. They looked at one another, without words, quickly decided to do a U-turn and see whatever it was, if it was still there. But that fast it was gone. My husband said the first thought was that it had been a black bear, as they had been spotted in that surrounding area. But his friend who was in the back got a better look when it stood up completely and said there was no way. He saw its face and said it was more flat like a human and there was no hair on his face. My husband would later say that when he thought back on how it looked and moved, it really didn't seem like a bear. But at that time, his brain was trying to process what he was seeing, that it was the only thing that came to mind. When they looked closer at where it had been, they saw it had been pulling up buds and eating them. What they figured was this thing was probably used to people not being back there, and because the ATV was smaller and not loud like a larger one would have been, coupled with the dense woods blocking some of the sound, it most likely was caught off guard, thinking they were further away. But once it saw them, it was gone in a flash. The second possible sighting, my husband, who was a truck driver, was driving through central Texas late one night. On his way home, he saw a really large dark shape across the road in front of him, walking on two legs. There were no other cars around at the time and no street lights, as this was the middle of nowhere. It was at the edge of his headlights' reach that he saw it, so he couldn't see any more than it was something huge walking upright. But as he passed, he saw it was crossing. There was no sign of it being a person, no flashlight, no one walking near the road, as well as no visible explanation for what he had seen. He often drives at night, so was used to the schedule and stands by. He wasn't tired. He is not the type to make up these type of things. And even despite the sightings, he is still a skeptic of this type of thing, but admits he can't explain what he saw without at least entertaining the idea that it was something unknown to science. I will end with a poem I wrote. The Guy in the Woods, written Saturday, 2/24/2024 at 8 p.m. There is a hairy man that lives in the woods. Some seem to be bad, others are good. He's got really big feet and very stinky smell, and he knows how to hide himself really well. Known all around the world by many names. In some ways he's different, in others the same. He has been there too for quite a long time. His territory stretches for miles and miles. He travels from here and migrates to there. To keep it a secret, he takes great care. I don't blame him though, and neither should you. People fear and kill the things they are not used to. There's a tall, furry guy in the forest, no doubt, and we don't need to see him to figure that out. Some of them may be nice and others mean. Some have been encounters, but most are unseen. They've been here for so long and in so many places with many different features right down to their faces. Kind of like us, with many sizes and colors, some of them kind, some don't play well with others. We would likely do best to just leave them alone. We've all got a place. Let them have their home. Coming across one by mistake is a whole nother story, but please don't hunt one down for fortune and glory. They have families and lives just like we do. Some are husbands and wives or kids at play too. So if you see one around, just give them their space. You leave them, they'll leave you, is usually the case. If one's causing trouble, avoid at all costs. Not many take on the big guy without taking a loss. Remember to stay sharp and to watch your surroundings, to keep an eye out for signs when going on outings. And if you hear knocking, a grunt or a growl, or you smell a strong odor, there may be one on the prowl. If you find a large print or turf of coarse hair, just know there's a chance that there could be one there. The end. All right. Thank you very much. That was cool. We appreciate you sharing that with us. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think I'm going to have to probably put that on something, and hang it up or something. Really cool stuff. Thank you so much. All right. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you again for joining me here today. And I'm going to see if I can't get this up yet for you. And thank you guys for sharing and all your support. I will see you again very soon.